Beauty matters because man does not live by function alone. He can survive on function for a while. He can eat plain food, sleep in a bare room, work in an ugly building, and move through a city that looks like it was designed by people who despised sunlight. He can do this. Men can survive many things. That is one of our more dangerous talents. We can get used to conditions that ought to offend us. We can adapt to spiritual malnutrition and call it realism. Still, survival is not the same as life. A man may endure ugliness for years and never quite notice what it has taken from him. He still gets up, he still earns money, he still answers texts, pays bills, drives the same roads, sits under the same fluorescent misery, and returns home to walls that do nothing for the soul. He functions. That word has ruined many lives. A machine functions. A mule functions. A prisoner functions. The real question is whether he feels enlarged by life or quietly diminished by it. Beauty enters there. Beauty matters because it tells the soul that the world is worth loving. That is no small thing. A beautiful church, a beautiful piece of music, a beautiful face, a beautiful line of poetry, a beautiful room, a beautiful street, a beautiful meal laid out with care. All of these do more than please the senses. They call the human being out of mere appetite and into reverence. They say that life is not only a problem to manage, it is also a thing to behold. There is a difference between a world you merely use and a world before which you can stand still. A man who never stands still before anything beautiful becomes coarse. Not evil necessarily, coarse. He begins to think the only real questions are practical ones. What works? What pays? What scales? What gets results? What moves units? What closes the deal? What keeps the lights on? These things matter, of course. A civilization built on pure contemplation would collapse by Thursday. Bread matters. Roofs matter. Wages matter. Plumbing deserves more praise than it usually gets. Still, when practical reason becomes the only honored form of reason, people begin to shrink to the size of their errands. Beauty restores proportion. It reminds man that he is not only a producer and consumer, he is a beholder. That is why ugly societies become cruel so easily. Once beauty is dismissed as frivolous, expensive, feminine, elitist, or secondary, people begin treating the human person as though he were built only for use. Buildings become boxes. Speech becomes blunt and ugly. Clothing becomes careless. Ritual disappears. Public spaces decay. Art becomes either propaganda or mockery. Leisure becomes passive consumption. Every object says the same thing in a different accent. You are here to process inputs and outputs until death relieves management of your file. A charming arrangement. Beauty interrupts that lie. It tells the truth about human dignity in a form the body can feel. This matters because human beings do not believe by argument alone. They believe through the senses, through atmosphere, through rhythm, through shape, through color, through the felt order of things. A child walking into a grand cathedral understands something before he has the words for it. A man hearing noble music understands something before he can explain it. A woman standing beneath a great tree or looking out over a mountain range understands something that no spreadsheet can teach. Beauty reaches the mind through the gatehouse of wonder. And wonder is one of the few things left that can still silence cynicism. That silence is precious. Modern people are drowning in commentary. They have opinions on everything and reverence for almost nothing. Beauty matters because it can break the chatter. It can make a man stop speaking inwardly for a moment. It can make him feel that there is something above him, something ordered, something worthy, something he did not make and cannot master merely by naming it. In that sense, Beauty is a tutor in humility. It shows man that reality contains splendor he did not invent. This is one reason beauty and religion have always been close companions. A faith without beauty becomes dry, managerial, and suspiciously similar to a seminar with tax benefits. Beauty in religion does not exist because God needs decoration. He does not. Beauty exists because man needs to feel the grandeur of what he professes. Incense, stained glass, vestments, chant, bells, candles, architecture. All of these train the body to recognize holiness through form. Strip all that away and say only, well, the truth still remains. Fine, the truth remains. So does a wedding if you move it to a parking lot and replace the vows with bullet points. Something survives, something also dies. Beauty matters because it helps love become visible. Think of what people do when they love something. They adorn it, they tend it, they arrange it, they make it lovely. A man who loves his wife brings her flowers. A woman who loves her home makes it warm and orderly. A people who love their God build a worthy house for worship. Beauty is not separate from love. Beauty is one of love's natural languages. When nothing is adorned, tended, elevated, or made graceful, it often means love has thinned into mere maintenance. This is why ugly environments do moral damage. That claim sounds grand until you notice how obvious it is. Place a man in a beautiful place, and he is more likely to lower his voice, straighten his posture, and behave with a touch more care. Place him in a filthy, chaotic, badly lit, spiritless environment, and he begins to sag. He litters more readily, speaks more harshly, dresses with less care, treats others with reduced seriousness. The surroundings teach him what sort of creature he is expected to be. Beauty whispers, act nobly. Ugliness mutters, why bother? People like to pretend they are above such influences. They are not. The wallpaper is always preaching. Beauty also matters because it gives men something higher than comfort to aim at. This is especially important now because modern life offers comfort constantly and meaning rarely. Men are surrounded by conveniences. Food arrives with a button. Entertainment arrives with a swipe. Climate control obeys the wrist. The body is coddled, while the spirit dries like old leather. Comfort is a poor king. It keeps people soft, grateful for little, and bored in a way that turns slowly poisonous. Beauty, by contrast, asks more of a man. It demands attention, patience, taste, discernment, devotion. A man may look at a great painting, hear a great symphony, or stand in a great building and feel two things at once: pleasure and inadequacy. Good. That is healthy. Beauty often reveals the gap between what we are and what we might become. It amazes, but it also judges. It makes smallness visible without humiliating the soul. It says, there is more. Rise. That rising impulse matters terribly for men. A man with no contact with beauty often begins to confuse appetite with desire. He starts chasing what is loud, easy, immediate, and crass because he has lost the habit of recognizing what is fine, noble, and worthy of loyalty. This is why cultures that lose beauty become vulgar so fast. Once taste collapses, appetite governs. Once appetite governs, every form becomes more extreme. Food gets more chemical. Entertainment gets more obscene. Speech gets uglier. Architecture gets meaner. Fashion gets either shapeless or grotesque. Public art becomes a prank with grant funding. Nothing can remain stable under those conditions because nothing calls men upward. Beauty does. And yes, beauty can be misused. It can become vanity, decadence, luxury worship, sterile refinement, or the hobby horse of people who like gold trim more than goodness. Fine, every good thing can be corrupted. Strength can become brutality. Mercy can become indulgence. Wisdom can become cowardice wearing spectacles. That does not make the good thing worthless. It proves only that man is talented at ruining gifts. The right response to false beauty is not ugliness, it is true beauty. True beauty has order in it, fitness, proportion, radiance, a sense that the parts belong together and point beyond themselves. It is not merely prettiness. Prettiness is easy. Beauty has depth. It can be tender or severe. It can appear in a weathered face, a stern building, a scarred landscape, a hymn, a sword, a mother holding a child, a craftsman finishing a chair, a soldier standing his ground, an old oak tree against winter light. Beauty is not fragile decoration placed on life after the serious work is done. It is one of the ways reality discloses its inner rightness. That is why beautiful things often feel both restful and demanding. They feel as though the world is more itself in their presence. And that brings us to a deeper point. Beauty matters because it helps man recognize home. I do not mean merely his house. I mean the sense that reality is not alien in the deepest sense, that it bears forms to which the soul can answer with yes. A civilization full of beauty tells its people, you belong to a world with shape, memory, and greatness. A civilization full of ugliness tells its people, you belong nowhere. Drift quietly and consume what you are given. Men get sick on that second message. They become restless, ironic, destructive, or numb. They lose the ability to revere. They seek stronger and stronger stimulation because they no longer know how to behold. They talk endlessly of authenticity while living among things no sane ancestor would have called fit for human habitation. Then they wonder why they are depressed. Well, perhaps the soul resents being housed in a storage unit with Wi-Fi. Beauty is not a luxury item for prosperous ages. It is spiritual infrastructure. A society that neglects it is doing to the soul what a city does to the body when it poisons the water. The damage may take time to show. It shows all the same. People become more anxious, more vulgar, more alienated, less capable of gratitude, less able to bind themselves to places and persons. They stop making things worthy of inheritance. They stop believing greatness is possible. They become practical in the narrowest and saddest sense. That is why beauty matters. Because man was not made to live in a world stripped of wonder. Because utility cannot satisfy the hunger for grandeur. Because the soul needs form as the lungs need air. Because without beauty, truth becomes thin and goodness becomes joyless. Because children deserve a world that inspires them before it instructs them. Because old men deserve to die surrounded by things that suggest life was worth the burden. Because a people that forgets beauty eventually forgets what it is trying to save. And because beauty, at its best, gives us a glimpse of order that no argument can fully supply. It does not replace truth. It helps us love truth. It does not replace goodness. It helps goodness shine. It does not solve every problem. It reminds us that man was made for more than solving problems. A society that understands this will build better homes, better churches, better schools, better songs, better public squares, better habits, better men. A society that does not will keep producing boxes, noise, distraction, and people who feel tired in ways sleep cannot fix. Beauty matters because it keeps the soul from becoming a warehouse. That alone should be reason enough